Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one and all to Bharat 3's Speak series of webinars. We are very happy to welcome you to this session, which is a topic of great interest. Financial services are something that every corporate, every individual is connected to. And cyber risk for financial services is the context in which we're going to discuss today. The topic has been of interest, especially because of significant incidents that are happening in the corporate world, especially for the financial services. And today we'll have a very interesting conversation with an expert who brings with him decades of experience on the field of cybersecurity, in particular addressing financial services industry, spanning over a very wide range of services. So I'm very happy to welcome you. More and more guests are joining. I welcome to this show the guest for today, Mr. V.Sendil Kumar, Chief Technology Officer of Shriram Capital. Mr. Sendil Kumar is part of an organization which is a large financial services conglomerate with more than 60,000 employees and thousands of branches across the group companies and touching as many financial services as you can imagine. The most visible ones are truck finance and consumer durable finance. They also have within their fold general insurance and life insurance and financial products distribution. They also have stock broking and insurance broking and as many related financial services operations. So Mr. Sendil Kumar oversees security function. He's heading IT and oversees security function for such a large enterprise. Welcome, Mr. Sendil Kumar, for Bharat 3 Speak series. Sir, you'll have to unmute your mic.
Thank you.
Welcome. You'll have to speak louder, sir, so that all the audience can hear you.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, Mr. Arunachalam, for this.
Yes, sir. So we'll be talking today. The overall context, Mr. Sendil Kumar, is cyber risk for financial services. So for the interest of audience, I wanted to share something about the background of Mr. Sendil Kumar. I've told you about his organization. Mr. Sendil Kumar has been qualified in computer science. He has an MBA and has done an executive program in business management and is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta. So he's got an impressive educational qualification behind him. Added to that is the deep experience he has had with Shriram group of companies, having seen the growth of the business supported by technologies as technology itself evolved. So he has seen decades of how the group itself grew, and along with that, to make sure that every customer and every stakeholder is able to benefit from the growth of the company, aided by technology. Mr. Sendil Kumar has journeyed with Shriram Group as they have grown in business. He has been an awardee from IDG, DataQuest, and Core Media, Economic Times. He has been featured in the media for his background. And he also oversees in his security function the complete data management and system and IT management, including 24/7 network operating centers and the cloud infrastructure that Shriram Group has carefully chosen to make sure that the business is efficient, and also the security operations center. So all of this is part of what he oversees. Today we'll be discussing with him about the cyber risk. This session is not about cyber insurance, it is about cyber risk for financial services companies, and we'll be digging into what Mr. Sendil Kumar has to tell us. So Mr. Sendil, I will just straight away go into the questions that I have, and I request your response on each of these questions. I'm sure the context will be cyber risk for financial services, but the interest should be for every corporate, because there is no individual or corporate who can say, I don't have anything to do with financial services. He may be banking, he may be a consumer of corporate banking, his company may be involved in treasury operations or credit operations. So there is a very close relationship between corporate world and financial services. So I would believe that the corporates of every sector would be interested in this topic. So I'm sure among the participants, there are people from different type of companies, and they would like to know, with the organization that they're dealing with, which could be a bank or a NBFC or any other financial institution, how that organization could be impacted by a cyber incident, and what could be the outcome for the corporate. That would be the overall context of what we're going to talk. So let me start with this today, sir. We are talking of a very significant happening in the past few weeks. It has been discovered in the past few weeks with a technology provider, but the incident has been the intrusion has been there for months. So we are able to see that this organization has been a provider for, let's say, top Fortune 500 companies and government agencies. If you focus our attention to only the financial services companies, what do you think will be the impact of Indian corporates if an Indian corporate has been using the application or software of this organization? Today, what the CXO or somebody heading IT or security function, what should be their immediate concern? How they should react?
Good evening.
Sir,
Good evening,
yes,
everyone.
sir.
And good evening, Mr. Arunachalam. Thanks for a good introduction. Uh, to be very precise, I will keep this session quite casual, and I will share my knowledge. I may or may not be knowing the entire IT security, but with my experience and with my knowledge, I would like to address this forum. So, few things may be like with my experience, it could be a right or wrong. So this is the way in which where we have gone from my company or Shriram Group, and also the learnings which I had from peers and also with the association of our CISOs and also from CXOs. So when now coming to the question, what I think your meaning of latest incidents which has happened from a leading security company and also a leading what to say network monitoring company. So I assume that. So, but generally these type of attacks happens from the leading companies also. So we will be thinking that they are great in that, but when it is being like a targeted attack, it is nowhere. So you have to accept the potential of the adversary. You'll have to plan to thwart this type of attacks. So I believe that some critical breaches and hacks carried out were done by well-funded, or in some cases even the state-sponsored attack. See, as the country or wherever we are going, it is going towards digital. So once the digital, always there will be a threat. So if a particular community or a particular country or a particular group wants to target, there are multiple ways to do that. For that certain level, there should be a proper mitigation, there should be a proper controls which should be there. But good part is that the companies which and all got attacked, like a security company getting attacked or a leading software company, if it is getting attacked on the cloud like that, the biggest thing is that they immediately come out of that and they give us the patches or they give us the immediate service packs for us to deploy it. What we have to do is that we should monitor regularly. We should see that, okay, these are the companies which we are also using it. So some incident has happened or some threat has happened. Immediately, what is that we have to do? First of all, what I feel is that we should not be panicking, but we should be very cautious. So three areas where I feel that we should concentrate before going to a company. Like when you want to plan for a product or when you are planning for a security solution company like that, we should thoroughly assess the vendor. How is their credentials? How is that they have gone for these number of years? What was their attack? And if I personally feel that attack is not a problem, how they came out of that and how they recovered it from that stage and how instantly they helped their customers. That is that which we have to see. So one is that we have to see the skills. If you don't have skills to assess the vendor, please arrange a third party or an auditor to do that and understand how the companies that don't just like that go based on the costing or based on the relationship which you have with the partner or a vendor, because the CEO level itself there could be a change. So we should see the history of that company and how they have done. So if they're a startup, if it is a startup, how is their skills in that? What is the skill set which they have? These are the things where we should assess. And second is that it is, even though you told that you are not telling about the insurance policy like that, but cyber insurance policy is one thing. Like now many companies are thinking. Earlier they were not very serious on that, but I personally feel that the corporates or the organizations, irrespective of what business they are doing, once they are planning to go for a digital, immediately I feel that at least to start with, they should go with some level of insurance. Cyber insurance is a growing thing where it is there in the market. Leading companies do have. I prefer that they should go in there. And third, which I prefer, is that we should have a proper BCP in place. That is the business continuity plan. So suppose some incident has happened and some attack has happened, immediately we should try to run from our disaster recovery site, or it is the site which we have as a cold site or a hot site. We should make that as up and we should start the business. One is on the fund, we should try to have some insurance to recover that. And second is that for the business continuity, we should have a proper DR mechanism in place. If these things are there from a corporate side, we can try to manage and we can try to come out, even though if our major partners or customers are getting affected. That's what from my side, Mr. Arun.
Thank you, Mr. Sendil. So I wanted to put it, I mean, very useful feedback that you've given in terms of looking closely at the capabilities and background of the, or even possibly the security of the vendor. But I wanted to check with you, what do you think is a typical Indian corporate, especially the financial services sector? How serious or how evolved are they in the vendor risk management? Because I want to mention here that when we talk to corporates advising them on cyber risk, we put it in three buckets. One is the vulnerabilities or weaknesses in their own system in terms of how they have designed their cyber security. Second will be the extra layer of risk that might come when you allow access to vendors to come into your system by API integration or allowing them any kind of access into your IT network. Vendor can be a higher level of risk. Third could be what we have seen in many cases when you're acquiring a company, the old and legacy systems of the acquired company, and then when you want to integrate, you are facing a higher level of risk. But on the topic of vendor risk management or vendor risk assessment, what is it in your viewpoint? Where does a typical Indian corporate would be as of today? I'm talking about the financial services because I want to bring the focus again and again to financial services firm. If you are hiring a vendor for any of your operations, since you've been in the business for decades now, you've reached a certain level of maturity in identifying vendor risk management. But outside your organization, where do you think Indian corporates are?
Okay. See, what I can tell is that this is the area where everyone are focusing. Like one I was telling about cyber security or cyber insurance and vendor assessment. See, many things happens like mere formality, like that they have a vendor sheet, they identify, okay, who is their customers and what is that they are doing. Fine, it is okay, let us give them the order. And many, as again, I'm insisting that I have seen many companies, they are going just based on their costing. They feel that, okay, I am getting from a company, this is the cost, B company is this cost, and C company is this cost. Okay, let us go with the least cost. But can be on the other things, but not on the security part. If you see, like organization, when you're telling about finance and insurance, or a finance, like even the banks and all, many banks like that now they started, even the financial companies and all, no, the most important for them is that reputation. The funds can be here and there. Okay, I'm losing that money. Definitely I can pay some fine and I can do for the RBI or like that they can do. But the main thing is that on the reputation. If the reputation is getting lost, it will take long time to get it done. Now, thanks to this type of digital and social media, I am seeing that lot of messages, forward messages is coming that, okay, this particular bank is getting attacked or this financial company or something like that. Immediately, without knowing the authenticity or without knowing how genuine is that, people are there to forward to multiple groups, and that group is going to the other level. And finally, it means that actually that company or that institution is in a bad shape. No, it is exactly not. But it cannot be in such a way that we can take it things lightly also. So what I feel is that before going to for any product or any solution, find out and see that how the vendor quality is, that how he can come for you in when you are in a crisis. The vendor has to come, or a partner has to come for you, and he should try to help you to recover from the particular issue what you have faced. So there are many companies like that, but the relationship how we have, and also the reputation how that organization also has, we should go in. When you are telling about finance, again I am telling that many banks and financials are now, it has been tightly controlled by RBI. We could see that even a financial company, we are getting that RBI is giving a regular security posture of how your organization should be there and what are the areas we should improve, and regular audits they are coming. And it is, I feel that it is a clearly a ongoing process. So we are now in that stage, and definitely year on year we will improve, and we can be at par with the other countries, which I can say that who they claim that they are ahead on the security. Still, India is improving in that. Definitely, it will be at par. Is what I can tell.
Very nice, sir. I want to take the discussion to another area of risk, especially for financial service companies. In a few incidents, especially involving banks, the reports that came out, the forensic investigation report or a kill chain that you would study, revealed that they were using old generation operating systems like Windows XP or any other old generation operating system. Is that risk still there among typical Indian financial services corporates? Number one. Number two, how important is patch management? Even in, let's say, they have operating system, but how mature is patch management in terms of software updates or even security updates? These two areas, can you comment, sir? One is about still even in 2020 or going into 2021, is a typical Indian financial services firm using old generation operating systems which are not supported by the OEM. Even last week, I read a forensic investigation report about an Indian corporate, not financial services firm, where they are using 2003 and 2008 in 2020. So please comment about where is a typical Indian financial services firm. Number two, on this issue of patch management, especially during Corona times, people were working from home. How was patch management? What kind of priority it received? Both these areas, please comment, Mr. Sendil.
Right. It's really a very good question. So one is that right, the bank cyber security and also the financial cyber security is, if you see year on year, we are improving a lot thanks to RBI's norms and their regular audits. Year on year, we are improving. They are giving a lot of suggestions. They are telling us to do an internal audit and external audit. But only thing what I want corporates and others to do is that, no, it should not be like a person, he will be having a helmet in front of his two-wheeler. When if he sees the traffic police, immediately he'll put his head and he will try to escape in that scenario. So there are some companies who feel that because they cannot invest more, so they will try to manage in that time. And then during the audit, and again, they will be relaxing it. But that is really wrong precedence, because the intention is that the reputation and also the fund or the money, everything will be in stake if they take things lightly. So especially the finance arms should be very stringent on the what RBI is telling they have to follow. But what RBI is telling also, it is not just like that plug and play. See, suddenly, as you are rightly told that XP, Windows 2003, those things and all, definitely RBI has told that long time to remove. That is that why when there is no this end of support products, you are not supposed to use or you are supposed to do. The biggest thing what the organizations they have is the two things. One is on the budget, and second is that on the product compatibility. Suppose they are buying a X product, the support is could be only on the XP or could be on Windows 3. Suppose then they have to go in such a way that again they have to spend some money, they have to do the testing, and then with the testing they have to integrate with multiple applications. It is not like one application they will buy and then just like that plug and play they will install. No, it is not like that. They will be having multiple products. So suddenly if they tell henceforth you have to do this type of version, and immediately they cannot implement in the next week, or because they have a UAT environment, they have a next pre-production environment, their testing they have to do that, and then we have to go to the live environment and we have to integrate. So this is really a pain area from if you take from the corporate side. But definitely there are tools available like a patch management is there. We should go in such a way that which are the areas it is possible we should try to automate. We should try to automate in such a way that the manual activity should come down and these patches has to get deployed accordingly. We should be having like, okay, my particular system is having these type of setup. So these are the patches I have to give. And the next, he's having this type of application, he should try to do this type of patches. That type of documentation, the patch updation is one of the serious and very, very important thing, because most of the attacks are happening because the person is not having a proper, proper patches installed. If he's having a proper patches installed, then he can at least to latest patches, if it is there, definitely he can overcome the issues. And these we call as a residual risk. So, and another thing is that what we can do is that we should have a strong risk assessment team in place. The risk assessment team, what they will do is that they will understand the entire structure. It doesn't mean that the risk is only on the fund floor, risk is only on the business, risk should be there on the IT. And the risk management team should sit along with the regular stakeholders and also the management. Suppose if we take an example of XP changing to Windows 10. So the risk management has to speak everyone and they have to understand what are the risks which we are living, how whether the bank or a finance company can take risk and run that. And definitely it is not possible for them to change overnight. Then they should see in such a way that how soon they can make, how the budget can be prepared, and what is the priority and how the severity has to happen. So these are the things where the corporate can do, Mr. Arnachal.
Fine, sir. Another area of risk that I was thinking about is not only financial services, but every other corporate has been already into this quite in an extensive way. Tell me about adaptation to cloud, because there is the private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud. Tell me about your experience when you started using. I don't know how much of cloud adaptation is there in your group, but when you talk about cloud adaptation, of course, it makes the business efficient, and possibly some aspects of security is taken care of by the cloud provider, but not everything. There is an obligation on the cloud user as far as some areas of security. It is balanced that way. But when you went into cloud, what was the balance in terms of security? Did you think going into cloud exposed your business to more risk? What was your thought process? And also tell us what is your experience of cloud adaptation? I'm asking this question with the background that even there are incidents where businesses came to a grinding halt because cloud was compromised.
Okay. No, fantastic, because that is the talk of the uh, period. So everyone, when we are speaking from the CXO level, cloud is one thing where everyone are speaking on this. So especially as you rightly told on the security front. So I feel that cloud adoption is inevitable for any organization, especially into finance and banking sector. So the reason is that one is that on the agility and second is on the scalability. Those two is phenomenal when you are in cloud. Suddenly your business is growing in. You don't have enough infrastructure or enough resources in your premises. Definitely, if it is a cloud, within few hours you can try to increase the resource and you can scale the resources and business can continue as usual. Because now the business, we don't know at when it will get peak and how it will get peak also. So we cannot tell the business persons like, okay, the infrastructure is not ready, we don't have resources. No, it has to be there. So business getting now in this competition world, definitely IT should align with the business and help it. So cloud, there is inevitable for any organization to go, but how to go is what many organizations are thinking, especially on finance and bank. And recently I read the article, a leading UK bank is planning to go entire core banking system and also the entire thing on a public cloud. So they have decided and they're starting to move their applications. When you are asking my experience from Shriram Group, we have a private cloud here and we have a public cloud also. We are now exploring and we are doing in such a way that it should be a hybrid cloud. A private cloud will be in our premises and public cloud is on the third party like AWS or Azure or Google. And we will try to integrate in such a way that the applications can be moved at any locations. So here again, coming to the security. Security, there is a perception between 1 and 10. 10 is there are certain persons, director levels, who are feeling that if I move my applications on cloud, I am secure. And second perception is that if I move to the cloud, my application will get attacked and it will be affected. But definitely both are wrong. How controls we are having on the security? See, similarly, if there are three things in cloud. One is IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. IaaS is purely infrastructure. So they will give us space. We have to put our application. So we have to have the exact security mechanisms, or beyond the private cloud, we should have on the public cloud also. But the biggest advantage is that lot of products are available on the cloud. You can put that security in a particular day and you can see how it is working, and within few days you can come out also with that security if you are not comfortable. And everything, it is like pay as you grow or pay whenever is needed. So the security side, definitely it is a concern, and statutory also it is a concern, but slowly it can be we can overcome with all the security concerns on the cloud. Example, if you see, most of the banks are now using web-based email services. Earlier, everyone were having on-prem email. When email itself is going on cloud, what is the further security concerns we have? We should have proper controls and we should try to go on the cloud. So the way in which I feel is that slowly, especially in the work from home and digital culture, cloud is definitely, everyone have to think, and definitely security has to be strengthened accordingly.
I recently was trying to understand and learn about these cyber attacks and incidents that have happened. One particular reason or a risk factor was there. Misconfiguration of S3 bucket in AWS is just one reason quoted for maybe a dozen incidents which have happened, some of them even financial services industry. So if misconfiguration is a setting to be done by the customer, can we take it that a good amount of security controls are in the hand of the cloud user, the organization that is taking the service? because of which they cannot blame the cloud provider. Is that understanding correct, Mr. Sendil?
Yes. Two things, as I was telling, that if it is a IaaS, so the cloud provider is giving just a space, like S3 bucket or whatever the services that say AWS. So similarly, Azure also has. If it is IaaS and we are hosting the application, and if anything going wrong like that there, then the organization who's invested or who is hosted on the cloud is purely responsible, where the cloud provider can give just the suggestions, but he cannot go beyond certain level because we are taking the control. If we are going with the PaaS, which is called as platform as a service, the platform he will give. Suppose you are going there and you are using their products and their software, so the support, everything they will take care, but only thing you have to ensure that your application is getting compatible with the latest software which he is providing. That is a challenge. If your application is strong enough, then you can go with the PaaS model, where he will take most of the security of the latest patches, everything, he will take the responsibility. And third is that there are a lot of products now available, like we can enforce a multi-factor authentication. Suppose you want to authenticate the user only within your organization, like that also you can do. Suppose other person who is not that trying to attack, also immediately you can get a SMS, you can get a two-factor authentication, you will get a notification that this particular person wanted to come in, whether you can allow it. And second is that there is a product called CASB. CASB is a cloud-based security broker to check the control. It is, what it will do is that I am the user and that is the cloud provider. You want to integrate both. So who will take the responsibility? This CASB will be a broker for this too, and it will put the patches, it will handle the security controls, and it will give a clear picture on where your cloud posture is and what are the areas you have to improve. So, and there is another thing which is called as a role-based access we can give. There are many things now it is growing in the market, which is relevant for us. Definitely we can go. But based on that, we have to see how it is. The day one, you cannot decide that today I'm going to cloud, I can impose all those things. No, better I feel that let us go as a phased manner, step-by-step approach. To start with, you test and taste a thing on cloud and you understand how it is, and then you impose some security. You see, you ask your guys to play with that, give the feedback, and then try to resolve it, and then improve and do a UAT environment, and then you bring the live environment. That is the best mechanism which we can adapt, Mr. Arunachal.
Thank you, Mr. Sendil. I want to take the conversation to a related but very important current topic. How worried are you about ransomware? During the pandemic, every other organization has been experiencing. I am also seeing even some of my clients experiencing it, where ransomware is a major headache. So what do you think about this? How worried are you?
Okay.
I mean, worried on your own behalf for your organization, or how worried should be a typical Indian corporate, whether it's financial services or otherwise? Is ransomware real? Is it at our doorstep?
Okay. See, two things are there. See, ransomware, again, I will feel that the patches has to be there for all the applications. That is mandatory. And second is that, what I can say is that mainly this type of ransomware is happening through the email. So how you are giving the awareness, how you are giving the training to the persons really matters. Suppose the ransomware will come in such a way that it will tempt you to click a particular URL, which we call as a phishing URL. Just you will tempted in such a way that, okay, you have one, say now this is persons, now they understood you have 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, means they are understanding it is a purely phishing mail and they are deleting it. But nowadays the mails are coming in such a way that it is like, you will feel that this is a quite a genuine. It is like a brand abusement, which I can tell. Suppose take an example like Shriram City. Shriram City is sending intimation like this is the fixed deposit. You can click it and you can invest. So the persons who is a client or who is the public, they will think that okay, this is really real genuine one, and they will click, and finally it will go to his domain where he will not be knowing it. So this is called as a brand abusement. So if you see from Shriram Group, we have invested huge amount on these type of things to avoid, like we have a product called DMARC. The DMARC will handle in such a way that there are two keys in the email. One is the SPF and the other one is DKIM. The keys will check whether this is a genuine one. If it is genuine only, then only it will reach to their customer. Otherwise, it will not reach. That is one where in the branding we can think that okay, it is not a genuine and the person will not get. And second is that on when you are telling exactly the a link where if he clicks immediately, everything will get compressed or everything will get zipped and he will get a lock only if you pay money through Bitcoin, then you have to, then only we will release it. Two things which we can do is that we can have a email threat policy, which we call as a ETP. This email threat policy will help in such a way that genuine mails only will come to your inbox. In the gateway level itself, it will see that this is a spam or a phishing or something, and it will get deleted there itself, or it will get quarantined. So you need not go. And number three is that still if you're having that, please ensure that you have a necessary backup in place. Whatever is there in your, let it be a desktop or on the server, don't always have an instant backup. Why I'm telling not to have instant backup is that if something is getting affected, suppose your desktop, you are having an instant backup in other place. If here it is getting attacked or here there is some problem, there also it will get affected. Give some half an hour or a 15 minutes gap between those two. Let you think that 15 minutes data you may lose also. Don't worry about that. Have a 15 minutes gap and you ensure that in 15 minutes something happens also, not a problem. Or doing all these measures, something still you are getting attacked. Don't worry, don't pay anything, remove that and have that content and start using. Let it be on the server side or let it be on the desktop side. So ransomware, definitely you should have a strong policy. You should have a strong, your own case study, how is your setup, and try to find out where it is. One is that a general thing which you can do, and specific to your company, your guys have to see how it is and they can try to do that. From Shriram Group, we have each and every time we are improving on these areas, and still we are doing and still we are improving it.
But when you speak about somebody clicking on an image or opening an email, is there a connectivity to cyber risk and the general culture of an organization? I want you to tell about the security culture. Is a good level of security awareness or knowledge among employees one of the strong mitigations against cyber risk? Would you say that?
Exactly. See, what I feel is that for any organization, especially on the security, I normally tell us 3 P's. One is policy, second is products, and third is process and procedure. Policy should come from top-down approach. That is, the management should be very rigid and they should not just like that deviate if some issue comes, okay, this time you allow, okay, that particular time they can allow, but that should not be a practice like that. So the policy should be very stringent. And second is that on the product, I've seen many companies, they think like earlier, I think it's a Hero Honda, I think they used to tell a caption, fill it, shut it, forget it. No, it is not like that. I've seen that, okay, I'm having this product, why still I got my server got attacked, why like that? I've seen many persons telling that. Definitely it is not like that. The product, if you buy, you cannot just like that plug in and start using it. you have to do in such a way that all security products comes with a false positive. Many false positive issues, you will think that it is a genuine, but it will get blocked. And you will think that that is spam and it may come in. It will take some time. You should have some tolerance to manage it. And once you manage and once it is streamlined, then the product will act properly. And because most of the product now, which has artificial intelligence inbuilt, and they can do that. And third is on the process and procedure. Process and procedure means not mere document alone is not will not help. We have to have a strong monitoring mechanism. Any incidents occurred immediately, we should have a proper incident register. We should see that who has come and how it has come and how it has been attacked and what is that. We have to find out the remedy for that, or we have to see in such a way that which has come to our gateway level and how we can protect. So monitoring, where we should have a proper process, will help a lot. And as I was telling that, trainings, awareness, give them proper training to the employees, give them latest thing. It's not only for employees, it is for the IT team or the respective stakeholders, and also the users. For users, emails, how to do, try to do some mock by giving them a spam like that, where you can send it and try to see how the users feel, whether they clicked or something like that. Call them, give them a training like that. And second is that on the IT side, because lot and lot products has come, give them proper training, ensure that they are at par with the product, they are understanding the product, and these things will help us a lot in reducing this type of risk. Yeah. So that's what I was telling. With this 3 P's like process, procedure, and also the policies, product policy and procedure will help with the proper monitoring things. If these things are in place, definitely it will help for the organization.
So what kind of training activities or creating a culture within the organization, what kind of activities you would have done, sir, in Shriram Group? Because you have as many large organizations within the group. So is there anything specific you are doing to improve the security culture or bring in a security awareness among an average employee, which typically every morning he gets a mail. If there is a suspicious attachment or a link, he should avoid clicking on it. So how would you ensure by way of training or knowledge dissemination?
Okay, that's what. One is that for the users, what we do is that when employee joins itself, we give them a ISMS training, because ours is ISO 27001. So this is across all Shriram Group companies. We are ISO 27001. The companies companies which you told during introduction, all these companies we have ISO 27001. What we do is that we tell them, once the person comes itself, we have a learning and development team. What they do is that they have a video and they give a session, even they conduct a quiz, and they see how these new joinees or how they feel and how they are comfortable with that, and they train them like, okay, these are the areas they have to improve, and they are giving this type of training. And second is that what I want to tell everyone is that most of these attacks are happening through a social engineering. So it is like that, just they will call the receptionist, or they will call the front desk, or they will call the IT head or some person. They will ask that, so we want to send some invitation. We want to send some gifts to your MD. What is his email ID? Okay, email ID is well known to everyone, but they will ask in such a way that whether he's in station, whether when he will come, how many days. So when we tell casually like 4 days, so whether he's in India or whether he's out of country, what they will do is that they will have these things and all, they will be noting, and they will try to do in such a way that from my MD, these are the things I need, some certain amount. Can you transfer this to a CFO? I cannot call you over phone. Here there is no connectivity. Or here there is less connectivity. I don't have any telephone access. So these type of things are happening a lot in many organizations. So what I feel is that the tools should be very proper, and what he can do is that the CFO can send a separate mail to him without any link of this by typing the username password, and he should check whether that ID, whether it has been hacked or if the password is compromised, or he should put some CC to his next person and he should try to send. Sending a chain mail or replying these type of mails because he doesn't know that it is going to the right person or not, he may not be knowing. He should put to again he should type a email ID of his, and then he has to cut paste that, and if he sends with the CC, definitely these things can be done. And third is that I personally feel that security is one thing which is an area where it is keep on growing, and none of the companies or whoever I name or which are the companies, they will not be having a full-fledged security team. Definitely we should rely on the third party. You can have, if it's a small company or a large company, you can have a third party team, and you should have an internal team also, or you can have an auditor. All these three teams jointly should take a call. So internal team alone we cannot take a call, and the external team also with their words also we cannot go. Thing is that you should go with the collective, and you should handle in such a way that these type of issues are being resolved. So for that, a proper training should be there. We should know how our guys are known equivalent to the partner, or this is the product which we are buying, how the proper training is given, like that we have to do. To my knowledge, trainings has to be across in security, straight from the our security who stands in front of the office till the pantry guy who brings tea or coffee. He should be aware of security, because these are the areas where it is easily vulnerable, and there are chances of getting attacked just with these persons also. Don't take things lightly, like from him or from her, it will not happen. It could be from anyone. So once in the organization, one is in their partners, vendors, or your customers, and within the team or external to that, you should have a proper process, and you should follow towards that.
Yeah, so I have just received a question on WhatsApp, strangely. The question is, what is the priority for a typical Indian financial services firm on spending on security? Are they spending enough on security? Is that itself a risk, that they are aware that there is cyber risk? There can be a ransomware tomorrow, but they are shying away from spending appropriate amount on improving their security. What's your comment, sir?
Okay. No, if you see any organization, to my knowledge, I'm telling with my knowledge only, may or may not be right or wrong. If you take 3-4 years, the company budget for IT could have shrunk, but the security budget definitely would have increased. If not, then the company is in alarming situation. Definitely, I feel that who are CFOs here or persons who are in the finance side, please ensure that security budget has to get increased year on year, definitely, because at least for next 4-5 years, the way in which the things are happening, especially the companies are moving towards digital. One is that when you are thinking that your organization is moving towards digital, definitely you should ensure that security also should be accordingly. Don't think that, okay, I have not got attacked today, so I am happy. No, definitely if you are not attacked at any time, it can get attacked. And what are the savings which is being done for so many years may get lost. It is like investing in a defense. We are buying Rafale or any other things. Our intention is not that some war should come. We are prepared for at least to our mindset or our thing, like these are the securities which we have, and we can have a sleepful night. Otherwise, it will become somewhere, if it is getting attacked, we will be in a panic. So I feel that we should invest at least for next 2-3 years. Please invest more on security. Maybe your infrastructure and other things can be on cloud, but the security has to be there. Even if you are in cloud, you have to invest more on security.
But still, sir, I want an answer for my question, sir. I know what is ideal, what should be done. I agree with you. But I wanted from a security professional point of view, you are a CTO of such a large conglomerate. If you look outside the window, a typical Indian corporate, generally any corporate, or a corporate who is more dependent on IT, for example, a small e-commerce company, or when it comes to financial service firm, what is your opinion? Are they spending enough on IT security or cyber security, or they are not? What do you think? Your personal opinion.
Okay. No, see, for a small company or a small finance company, what general feeling is that they will concentrate more on the business and the how the business has to happen, how the revenues has to increase, because we are very starting. And during that discussion, they may or may not tell that, okay, security is very important. They may tell that for particular business, you invest on this type of resources and start doing, because security is one thing where you cannot measure a return on investment. That could be really a challenge. So, but I feel that now the awareness has happened a lot, especially from the work from home and also on the cloud environment coming in, and lot of attacks and lot of incidents which is happening. I personally feel that feeling that the companies are investing on security at their level. For a particular startup, he is spending a certain amount on security, and next level they are doing it. So it is keep on increasing. See, earlier it was simply buy a antivirus and they tell what is the security. I have an antivirus and I'm happy. Then they used to tell I am connecting to outside world. I have a firewall. No, now it is not that. You have to have a web application firewall to manage the application. You should have a situation where the log central has to get correlated, and you should have a SIM in place. Then to manage that, you should have a tool to SOAR platform to manage. So when the organization is going, definitely certain percentage has to get increased on the security. If not, they have to do that. But to my knowledge, slowly they are doing it.
So it's connected to affordability. It's connected to priority on cyber security plus their affordability.
But affordability also, no, they have to afford. They have to put some money on that. There is no second thought, I feel.
Okay.
Let them
Let's
take it lightly.
Yeah, I agree, sir. Because again, I'm reminded of your own example, which you quoted about riding a motorcycle and a helmet. Correct? You can't just do it for a formality, but you have to protect your business. Because you are there for carrying on the business. You have to protect it at any cost. I agree with you. I want to slightly change the subject to privacy. With the law coming up or about to come, there's no law as of today, but it can come anytime.
Okay.
In your experience as the CTO of a group where the group largely responds to Aam Aadmi, the common citizen having a small business or a small need, where private information is there available in the system. What are your concerns about personal data protection as far as your customers are concerned? How should that be addressed?
Yeah, this PDP is really area where last year, I think in the month of December 2019 or something like that, they have tabled in the supposed to table in the parliament. So this is Sri Krishna committee. They have given the recommendations on how your personal data has to get stored and how it has to be handled. If you see that earlier Aadhaar card, everyone were scanning and they were giving that. Now, from a financial side, we should not have the Aadhaar number. It has to be masked. And we have a tool, once the scanning the Aadhaar itself, immediately the tool will do in such a way that when it getting stored, it will the number will get blank. It will be masked. So we cannot even see that. So that is the area it started on the personal data protection. Now the next level, it is similar to the GDPR, which they are planning in Europe. Similarly, here also it is getting planned. So each and every data of the personal thing, we should have a proper security mechanism in place. It is like a person who is taking a backup. So there should be encryption there. To encrypt, we should have a strong decryption. So these type of things, the data should have a proper encryption, decryption, and the data what of the personal thing, only the certain persons can see, and then he cannot take it, he cannot recover it. And we are also slowly going in such a way that before that itself, we are going as a role-based access and privilege access management, where only the certain persons for a particular rights who has only have certain data he can access. Remaining data, he cannot even open it. So the role-based and right-based, which we are given it. And once this is coming to a draft, it has come, means definitely we will also strengthen accordingly. There are a lot of tools also now started it, how to protect it, but it is in the premature stage, and definitely once it is coming to life, we can handle it. So this will be really a challenge for small companies, small finance companies. It will be, they have to invest first, they have to understand how it is. Suddenly, they cannot take things lightly, and when RBI audit comes, then there is a hefty fine based on the turnover only. They are charging a heavy fine also. So small companies, I prefer that they should have a proper IT security auditor, or auditor like a CISA, like that, who can help, or they can go with the third party and do that. Because mere internal employees, the third party also will help, because internal employees may or may not be knowing, and the attrition also can be more. So these things will help for them to implement this PDP.
But are you geared up for complying with it, sir? Because you must be already preparing yourself, because you are not a small
Yes.
organization.
Yes,
You have
that's what
millions of
we are telling.
customers.
So one is that on the data, which is data in motion, data in rest, and data handling. So everything we started handling it. So a lot of areas where we have encrypted, if you think on the UAT and other things and all, we have just a dummy data in place. Only certain production areas and most of the areas we have kept this type of crucial data in an encrypted format. So only when it is needed to the right person, then only it will get decrypted.
Fine, sir. But talking of financial services firms, any discussion cannot be complete unless we talk of banks. Recently, I read somewhere in September 2020, a bank, and at least one bank in Seychelles and another bank in the South American country called Chile were hacked. Even sometime back, a few years back, I said, I read that hackers are not focusing on Asian economies, particularly smaller banks, cooperative banks. And as you know, certain incidents happened in India where the bank affected was a cooperative bank. In 2020, as we are marching into 2021, with pandemic having really created another layer of risk for cyber, where do banks stand? Recently, regulators brought cooperative banks also into the cyber security framework. What, from your viewpoint as a CTO of a financial services group, what are your comments about where banks stand today? What they should be doing, sir? From where, because it's a large retail game, and when everything is converging, risk is converging from severe happening, and incidents like ransomware going up, and the threat actors are getting more sophisticated. I even read about M&A happening among hacking groups. Somebody is shutting down, he's passing on his tools to another group, a new group coming. I'm fascinating to see typical M&A type of activity happening among hackers.
Yes.
Coming to banks, especially smaller banks and small finance banks and cooperative banks, are they prepared? Are they in the process of preparing? If you are advising a bank, sir, what will be your first level of advice as to what they should strengthen?
Okay. No, two things. When you are telling these incidents, I also uh, came across some few years before some a bank in Bangladesh got severely attacked, and the governor of that bank also has resigned because of this type of attack, where it will not take place in 1 day or 2 day. It will take a year or 1.5 years. So slowly they will come to your network, they will go next level. So all the layers of network they will go, and they will try to transfer. Once they're transferring, it will be immediate, where they will do some 4 or 5 transfer, and all these things happen through swift transfers and all. So I could see that RBI has come with stringent norms on swift transfer, all those things. Even last year also, some 35 banks, there was a huge penalty RBI has given it for them to pay, because it's not the money, it is what they have to be very serious on that. So definitely the authorization and other things and all, RBI is making stringent on that. It should be a multiple authorization, and also the amount also they are handling in such a way that middleman attack should not happen. If it is there, there should be time to get it credited and how soon we can recover. All those things, there is a framework and they are doing it. So if you see, no, it is multifold in the last few years comparing to 10 years before and recent few years. There is a strong attacks also happening, and banks also are gearing up and they are giving lot of priority on cyber security. I personally feel that we should concentrate on three areas. One is we should understand where the data goes and where the data comes. One is happens through your endpoint, especially on the work from home environment. The endpoint plays a major role. You should have a proper DLP in place, which is called as data leak prevention. The mails, emails, or the transfer which you do should have a proper keys in place. And when you are doing something very important or very sensitive, the next level or the senior should get an alert that this particular person has sent some important thing, or is going to send, it has been blocked, whether you are allowing. So this DLP will play a major role when you are having an email. So because email control is very, very important. Now work from home, earlier emails used to do only in the office. Now from the home or wherever he is using the email, we have to give, because business has to happen. So how to protect that? So these type of sensitive things, whom is required, for whom it is not required, we have to do. So DLP will definitely will help. Then the antivirus and all, earlier it was like signature based. Only with this signature it will see, remaining it will allow. But now it is coming like a behavior based with artificial intelligence in place. And wherever there are some attacks, immediately the patch comes and it can do that. This is on the endpoint. Second is on the networking. Networking is called as a gateway level security. In this gateway, you should ensure that your server, your devices, your networking devices, everything should be patched properly. You should ensure that the latest version is happening. And all these logs, if you keep monitoring it, as I was telling, that this will not happen overnight. A person wanted to attack just like that, he will not come and attack and take the money like that. It will take time to time for the person to do that. So if you do a regular audit, if you do a regular patch in place, if you do regular firmware upgradation properly, and your endpoints are properly protected, and you monitor regularly, you can be rest assured that nothing will happen. Maximum. In cyber security, there is nothing like 100% we are secure, but mostly you are through, and you can have a sleepful, peaceful night. So these things, if you follow, definitely we can do that.
So I have a last question, sir. Recently in your interview to Economic Times, you had mentioned about you are using artificial intelligence to make the business more efficient. From the security point of view, are you using AI to strengthen your systems? Can you comment about that?
No, security, what we are doing is that security, we, as I was telling, that we buy the products only. So we buy a product because nowadays most of the product comes with the AI inbuilt, many latest products. What it will do is that, one is that on the, if a particular person is keep sending a mail to a person whom it is not related to the company, immediately we will get an alert. And a person who is sending to one person more time, we will get an alert. So there are multiple factors involved. Suppose these type of attacks. So when you see a logs in the network, this particular attack for this IP has come and your device has attacked. So, but however, you be a little bit careful is what it can give us a intimation. So based on these type of attacks, we will see that, okay, whether this location is required, this location is not required. If it comes, where we can do. There are now a deceptive technologies where they will try the hacker. If it comes in, they understand also, they will route a different way in such a way that he will not get a proper data and he will go out. These are the technologies which is coming in the market. But
is that honeypot, sir? Or you talk
yes,
about
exactly,
honeypot?
exactly. Honeypot is one thing where they make in such a way where they will change your direction. So these type of things which has come to market, but what are the products which we are buying? Now it is inbuilt. We have to ensure that those things are inbuilt with the AI in place.
Okay. So, Mr. Sendil, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We have covered a good number of topics, particularly which is of interest to our participants. They are either part of financial services firms or they are corporates who are consumers of financial services. We have covered virtually whatever is relevant today in terms of cybersecurity. We also spoken about the right budget being allocated for improving security. Beyond that, budget is nothing without a proper culture. We also spoke about how do we incorporate a good security culture that a typical employee receives a mail, he is able to immediately spot a suspicious attachment or a suspicious link. The junior most or an employee who is doing a normal function should be able to identify, because all it takes is for a junior associate to click a link and then create havoc into the system. It's been fascinating to hear your explanation. I'm sure that we'll be meeting again and discussing the remaining topics. I wish to thank you for spending an hour. I thank all the participants who have spent the last hour paying careful attention. It's been a pleasure meeting you. We'll come back with another topic which will talk about not insurance, which will talk about risk, because Bharat 3 wants to play a very constructive role in bringing focus to aspects of risk before even we talk about insurance. So with another risk topic, we'll be back in front of you. We'll invite you for another session. Mr. Sendil, a closing statement from you.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell. Thanks, Mr. Arunachalam, for asking very valid and good questions. So everything it has come from my experience. So some may be right or some of them it may not be right also. But whatever I told is more on the practical. Definitely who are not into this, definitely I want them to seriously look on that. Don't take security very lightly. And thanks, I thank Bharat 3 entire team who has given this platform and gave an opportunity for me to share my ideas and my thought. Thanks a lot, Mr. Arunachalam.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm signing off. This is Arunachalam. Bye-bye.